Our Story Productions presents the Cocklebur Morning Show, where we weed out the big stories from throughout Sweet Swine County with Bobby Ray and Sally Sue.
Thank you, and welcome to the Cocklebur Morning Show, where we weed out the big stories throughout Sweet Swine County and beyond. Once again, I'm Cousin Jeff, filling in for Bobby Ray with my co-host, once again, Prairie. Prairie, I'm excited to be working with you again. This is great.
I'm so excited to be here again, Jeff. And you know what? Anytime that Sally Sue has to go on a silly assignment, I'd be glad to fill in. Giddy up. This has been so much fun.
Well, I enjoy
You have all those doctors on. And, ooh, it's so much fun.
I enjoy working with you, and you know what? We might take over this show someday.
I think we should.
But for now, let's just get started.
Okay, let's get started. What are we going to do first?
Now,
What's going on today?
Last time when we were together,
Yeah.
we didn't do a Bobby Ray's Weekend Adventure. It
I
made
know.
Bobby Ray a little bit distressed.
Oh, that silly Bobby Ray. What does he know anyway? We're in charge.
That's
It's
right.
our
We're
show.
in charge.
When
So I'm
we're
going to make
here,
a
it's our show.
I'm going to make a corporate decision.
Okay.
Why don't you read another one of those fan mails from your what's your show?
The emails from Ladies Are You Listening? Yeah. Let's
read
do
one
that.
of those. Read one of those
Okay.
again. Those were good.
That'd be wonderful, Jeff. Let's have a ladies and gentlemen get ready because it's time for
Ladies, are you listening?
this fan email says, "Ladies, I love your show." Of course, she's talking about the women of Sweet Swine County. Anyway, ladies, I want to drop you a line to let you know about an event.
Ladies.
Ladies,
Oh, it's to you.
to us ladies, the women of Sweet Swine.
I'm sorry,
Giddy up.
Marianne, go ahead.
That's all right. You're fine. I wanted to drop you a line to let you know about an event I'm going to attend. The Quilt Minnesota Shop Hop 2011, Friday, July 29th through Sunday, August 14th. Quilt shops throughout the state of Minnesota participate in the Shop Hop, and Prairie Quilting is one of 9 shops which make up the southwest section. Throughout the state of Minnesota, everyone will receive a free charm square at each shop they visit, and also get a free pattern for a 9-inch finished block. Visit each shop in the southwest section and you'll receive a free fabric wrap consisting of 18 third-yard cuts. Wow! I know you don't know anything about quilting, Jeff, but this is fabulous.
Really?
Exciting prizes, including a cruise for 2 to Alaska.
Wow.
Thought you should know a fan. See the wonderful letters we get?
I'll
They're
tell
so
you what, that's an
informative,
incredible
and
letter.
they want to share everything with us.
And where do they? What does that say there again?
Exciting prizes include a cruise for 2 to Alaska.
I might take up quilting.
I think you should. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Just for that prize would be enough for us
Exactly.
to take a part of that.
Well, there you have it, Jeff. Another fan email that asks,
Ladies, are you listening?
Now, what do you say we bring out our guest?
that would be awesome.
You can have the honors.
Thank you, Jeff. Ladies and gentlemen, from Madison, Minnesota, Dr. Jeff Stamp. Yay!
Welcome, Jeff. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Rumor at the water fountain is that Matt, you're a mad scientist.
Well,
Could
somebody's
this be true?
somebody's got to do it.
And a doctor.
And by the way, I appreciate the nice, warm introduction of the doctor. You know, my dad, who is a real estate agent in Madison, Minnesota for the Klein Bank, always introduces me as his son, the doctor who can't save anybody. So I'm glad for the upgrade.
So, as a mad scientist, tell us exactly what you do.
Well, my job is to create the future. So when you go to the store and you buy things that you decide that you like, my job is to try to figure out what you're going to like next and then figure out how to make it so that it's already there waiting for you so that you just go, wow, I always wanted to have one of those. Now it's there. And I work in the food industry, so I work in the food sector, and you've probably had one of two of my products.
Well, let's hear. What are your products?
I was the inventor of the Baked Lay's potato chips.
Wow.
So if you've eaten the baked
We
chips,
have.
We
Have you,
yes,
Prairie
we
Ann?
have. I have. Giddy up.
Well, there you go.
and it's not just taking a potato and slicing it up and baking it in your oven, because if you just take a potato and you try to copy my product and slice it up real thin and put it in your oven at 350 for 20 minutes, that's a kind of a recipe you can try at home. You'll
won't
make
work?
something that'll actually replace boot leather. That's about what it's going to be.
I'm sure of that.
So it's like secret. You won't tell us what
No,
the
I'll
invention
tell
is?
you. It's
You'll
like
tell us?
science, but it's interesting because what you have to do is you have to take the starch out of the potato, and you have to make a dough, and you have to cook it a special way. Then you have to roll it out, you have to cut it, and you have to do some, well, magic, which is why they call us mad scientists. But at the end of the day, you make that crispy product that everybody wants. And our job is to make it look effortless. So you just open the bag, you eat the product, and go, wow, I want
Wow,
more.
yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, think about it. Everything you wear, drive, buy, somebody had to invent it. And I just, one of those guys.
So do you have an easy button?
Yes. We come preloaded with an easy button. I think the first
It
thing you
sounds
got to
like
have,
you do. I mean, you
think the
make it
first
sound
thing you
like,
got to have as a scientist is you got to have the sense of, I can. You got to have that curiosity. Like, I love it when people would always come up to me at work and go, that's impossible. You can't do that. And I'll go, really? That's the project I want. Yeah.
So let me ask you, how does a small town boy become farm boy?
Farm boy.
I
Right?
think
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the magic. I think when
is
you're,
the magic.
I grew up 10 miles from town. Okay, I grew up a mile away from the nearest people. You know, you're out there all by yourself, and you spend.
That's what I was going to say, Dr. Jeff. Don't you think it's like out of sheer boredom? You're out of school for the whole summer, and you have to think of something to do.
Boredom? Are you kidding me? Those moments were the greatest because
That's what I mean.
imagine
because you couldn't get to town, so
We
it's like,
had-
okay, let's think of something we could do. Hypnotize the chickens.
Oh, we used to have all kinds of parties
with.
with the farm animals, but our
Yes,
favorite thing was to
exactly.
take just 3 objects. My sister and I used to have a little game. 3 objects. Oatmeal box, Band-Aid box, and some buttons. Now we used to make a game out of it. We used to take just random things, a rock, a stick, and a brick, and make a game out of it. I think what's happened with children today is they've lost that sense of discovery about how to play with just anything. You know, how do you take a beautiful pig vase, a coffee cup, and maybe your hat, and we could create a game that would be fun to play, and we could spend hours just trying to invent new things. And I think that's where it all starts, because as you look past the fence posts, you have to be able to say, I'm here, nothing I can do about it. So I could have whined about being out in the country, but to me it was an enjoyable, fun place. And I learned more on the farm than I ever did about business at the university.
So tell us what you learned more of what you learned on the farm.
I had a lot of great both of my sets of my grandparents were on the farm. And in the summertime, you spend time with your grandparents. And so you learn a lot from that sage wisdom. And the first thing that my grandfather, whenever he saw us just standing around doing nothing, he had one sterling phrase that he always used to say. He used to say, winter's coming. And that was his way of saying, you better find something to do, because if the snow fence isn't up when it starts to snow, you're in trouble. And for a lot of us at work, we all sit around going, it's not my job, it's somebody else's job. And so we're just waiting around for winter. And so when I talk to my audiences, I always say, you know, it's really important to find a way to keep busy.
So let me ask you, as far as how things have changed, I'm going to put us all in the same bracket. Prairie is about 25. But,
great.
We're a similar bracket in age. Do you think this will change back, or is it gone forever? When I'm talking about kids with technology, playing the computer games, playing the video games and different things, is there any chance that we could evolve back, or is it gone forever?
Jeff, I love that question. I think if we get past the notion of technology for technology's sake and begin to see that you still have to use your mind to think, what I try to tell my students all the time is, we may be now a small country. I mean, we know that places like India and China are producing more A students than we even have students. So we can't, unless, of course, we're all going to get busy and have more children, have a national referendum, everybody have 200 children.
Right.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. So what are we going to do? Well, what unites all of us in all of our businesses is we have to be able to make better decisions. So instead of just memorizing a bunch of stuff in school, which is what we all grew up doing, remember? Memorize the alphabet, memorize your multiplication table. If we just teach kids how to be more curious and how to make better decisions, then they'll still be able to be leaders in the next new world as we see it. We don't know what's happening. We now know that 20% of the students that we're teaching right now at the university level are going to take jobs 4 years from now that haven't even been invented yet. That's how fast the world is changing. So we can't be afraid of the future. We have to say, let's go see what it's all about.
Now, you say that you're speaking and going to different lectures and different things. If someone wanted to hear you or come to one of your programs, I call them programs, what How would they do that?
Well, you go on my website. It's boldthinking.com. Yep, technology. I actually came off the farm to actually build a website. And you go to boldthinking.com. You can follow where Dr. Jeff is, and you can actually watch me on YouTube and places like that. And I also make a lot of appearances at bookstores. I've written a new children's book about discovery thinking.
Because Did you bring your children's books with you?
Yes, like a good author, I brought my children's book. It's called Red and Slim, One Hot Day. And it's designed to make first readers, kindergartners and first graders, actually read faster so that they actually would want to read a book as opposed to watch it in a video. So we've changed the way you actually invent a book, much like a script. And you all work off of scripts, right? Yeah. So we wrote it in a storyboard fashion so that kids can actually read faster. As a matter of fact, the entire book is written in one-syllable words so they don't have to get hung up on the hard words, and it makes them more interested in what the story is going to be about. Because most children's books are just theme books. Sky is blue, grass is green. Kids watch videos at 2, 3, 4 years old. What they want are stories. Yeah. And so as I tell young people when I meet with them, I'm not a professor. I'm a storyteller of knowledge. And hang on for the ride. Because again, unless we're curious and have that passion for learning, we're all going to just roll up like the prairie tumbleweeds, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. And how do they get the book?
The book is available on Amazon.com, or you can buy it right off my website on boldthinking.com. And it's fun. I love to work with children. We're going to put 15 books in this series. And I like to get the story ideas from the kids, and then we go and craft a creative story around it. And again, whether you're making a potato chip or you're building a story, it's all about what's the next thing around the next corner. And so for me, it's always, what's going to happen next? Much like what goes on with your show. I'm anxious to always see every day, what's next on the Cocklebur Show?
So can you tell us what your next invention is?
And so do we. We want to see what's going to happen next on our own show because we don't know what's going to happen. So go ahead.
So can you fill us in on your next invention? What are you working on now?
Well, my newest thing is a way to help kids learn better on iPads and other computer devices to make learning online more like what it used to be like. In other words, make it so that it's actually discovery-oriented instead of just, oh, Google an answer. You know, my students at the university, if I'm lecturing, I may start a conversation, and while I'm starting it, they're Googling to see if I'm right. You see, the world no longer needs memorization, right? Because we can get information. What I want to do is to try to get people to do what we call intuitive thinking. Guess the answer and then see if you're right. And then use your brains to figure out if that actually is where you want to be.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have to go, Prairie. We're going to have to go to one of his programs as well as get on the website because it sounds very interesting. We want to thank you for being on the Cocklebur Morning Show.
Well, thanks for having me. It's always fun to come out in the country and get some fresh air.
Did you happen to bring one of those books that we could buy from you?
I will actually sign a book for you and give it to you, and everybody in the studio audience, I've got a free copy of the book for everybody. Go out in the car, we'll just bring them right in. But yes, I'll be glad to sign the book for you when we're done.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for being our guest today on the Cocklebur Morning Show. And Prairie, once again, thank you for co-hosting with me.
You're welcome,
This
Jeff.
was great
It's been
fun.
a pleasure.
We might have to do this again or maybe even have lunch.
It would be fun to do it again. And guess what?
Jeff, sorry, we're
Guess what?
digressing.
I'm available.
They're trying to decide what's next. They're inventing the next show.
We're inventing the next show. That's right. And thank you to our audience for watching the Cocklebur Morning Show, where we weed out the big stories throughout Sweet Swine County and beyond. Bye, everybody.